Thank you all so much for having me. I'm going to pick up my safety blanket. I'll be using this in a minute. I can't thank you guys enough for having me speak today and to try to inspire. And he said a lot of what I was already going to say, but CreatiVets is a nonprofit that does help combat disabled veterans heal through the arts and the music. We have two major programs right now. Our art program, where we enroll combat veterans into the best art schools in the country to teach them how to tell their story through art. So we'll take a veteran from anywhere in the country. In fact, we've helped 2 Native American Marines from the Blackfeet tribes of Montana, flew them to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago to study art for the first time in order to tell their story in a school environment to where they had a syllabus, they were treated like normal students, but they got to learn how to tell their story through art. After that, we display their art at a museum, so they can start talking at the National Veteran Art Museum in Chicago, where they get to talk with civilians and veterans alike about their experiences in a way that they couldn't have before. They could hide their stories in this art. And so our second program, which is a more popular program to the veterans, is our songwriting program. So we bring combat disabled veterans from anywhere in the country to Nashville, Tennessee. And we sit down with pro songwriters, and they get to tell their story for the first time in peer-to-peer mentorship. Sometimes the veteran will come there and say, hey, I can't tell my wife this, but I went through this, or this happened to me. But the day after we write the song, the first person they text that song to is their wife. And they're like, babe, listen to my song. I just wrote a song in Nashville, but it's their story. So first question I usually get after I tell people what I do, they're like, well, how'd you come up with that? That's a really cool idea, but how'd you come up with that? And the underlying question is, why are you the one that came up with that and nobody else? So boom, why me? So in 2006, 2007, my Humvee was hit by 4 separate IEDs, which left me with a left traumatic brain injury, and my buddy was shot and killed beside me. And so when I transitioned, I didn't know what to do when I left. If 0 was killing yourself and 100 was you before war, I was at about a 9. It was only my faith in God that really kept me above sea level. So, but I knew I needed to be better, and I didn't know if the VA, the stuff they were doing wasn't helping. So I decided I needed to take a different route. And at a local community college, I discovered art. I went for business. I was like, I'm going to be a businessman. Started failing the classes because of my brain injuries, my anxieties. I actually had to do one-on-one speeches with my speech teacher because I couldn't get up in front of class of these 18 and 19-year-old kids because that's how bad my anxieties were. And so now I'm in this art class for the first time saying, I want to tell my story, but I can't talk about it, and I don't want to talk about it. And I was doing this drawing up that you'll see up on this board. It's a chalk pastel. And so I'm sitting here, I'm doing everything in color like it's supposed to be, and it gets to the time where I'm supposed to do the grass, which obviously is green. The teacher comes up to me and says, hey, how about instead of doing the grass green, do it something that doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense the way you feel. And I was like, that sounds dumb. This is really good. Have you seen this thing? It looks really good. I don't want to change this up. Because at the time, I didn't understand how art could affect me. And so I just did, as a good Marine, I just led on, did everything red. And so then they come up to me, the students, when I put this piece up, they say, you put red in there because you watched your friend die. You put red in there because you loved him. You put red in there because you're mad that he died. Every one of these things made sense to me. It put me on my feet. Put me on my butt, really. I was like, this is insane because these civilians know what I'm saying, and I never said a word. So I knew there had to be programs that existed that allowed combat veterans like myself into the doors of these art schools to help me tell my story for the first time. And because of limited time, I'm going to move to the next slide. I just want you guys to know because I'm so grateful. My story is a long one, but that's a little snippet, but it's only getting bigger and better because of what the Bush Institute has done. Since I enrolled, we have all these new programs and new partners. So now not only do veterans get to fly to Nashville, they get to write backstage at the Grand Ole Opry, where nobody else gets access to. They get to tell their story back there. We just partnered with Zach Brown's Camp Southern Ground to offer curriculum for all the veterans going through their programs. We now are enrolling veterans into the University of Southern California to do art for the first time. And none of this was in existence before I started and got accepted to the Bush Leadership Program. And I just graduated in November. So imagine how much more we can do as we keep going up there. So I thank you so much for this opportunity. But I'm going to end it with a song. It's going to make you all sad. It's a song that we wrote for a veteran. He came to town. He's a Navy corpsman. And so a lot of people don't know what a Navy corpsman is, but it's a medic. So Army medics, Navy corpsman. He said that I really want to talk about not just me, but everyone. Like I went through a situation where I was going through some crap, But I want people to understand that it's not just me. The moment I help them, I put them on the chopper, then there's corpsmen on the chopper. Then once they get to the hospital, there's medics in the hospital. He's like, I want a song that talks about all that, but it wraps around my life. And one of the greatest things about this song is it got played on YouTube, has over 1 million hits, and it brought 5 veterans who've never sought help before to our programs because they heard this song and it made them leave their house because they wanted to tell their own story. So this song is called They Call Me Doc, and you're not supposed to sing after you eat, so I'm sorry. They call me Doc, I ain't got no degree. When it hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass, Kentucky, red blood on my hands. Nobody calls me hero except for my friends. Well, I woke up from dreams to find out they were real. I can tell you how it looks, I can't tell you how it feels. Yeah, I've seen it all, watched heroes who fall, pick them up till they stand tall. I've been in the field, worked down to the bone, make sure all my buddies get back home. I've shared the smiles, I've shed the tears, swore they'd make it out of here. When they scream, please make it stop. They call me Doc, they all know my name. Stitched on this chest, hangs from these chains. You won't read it in the paper, see it on the TV. I don't need no fame, it's fine by me. Yeah, when they're broken, bruised, I know just what I do. My job always starts when their job is through. Yeah, I've seen it all, watched heroes who fall, pick them up till they stand tall. I've been in the field, worked down to the bone, make sure all my buddies get back home. I've shared the smiles, I've shed the tears, swore they'd make it out of here. When they scream, please make it stop. They call me Doc, they call me Doc. Now you'll never know the heartache of looking a grown man in the eye when he asks, am I gonna make it? And you've gotta lie. They call me Doc, I ain't got no degree. When it hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass, Kentucky, red blood on my hands. Nobody calls me hero except for my friends. They call me Doc. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.